Hi there. In this lesson, we are going to be setting up the app that we're going to be using to help us to manage the loans within our library. To do this, we are going to create a new solution, and then we're going to create the My Library Manager Canvas app within that solution. So let's head over to the exercise and start building our Canvas app. I'm on the Dev Environment tab of the Power Up Program Hub, and I'm going to select Start Experimenting. And this takes me to make.powerapps.com. If you're an enterprise user, you'll need to head directly to make.powerapps.com. I'm currently in my environment Roaring Area 24, that's the correct one. I'm going to head over to Solutions. If you don't see Solutions, click on More and then select Solutions. I'm going to select Solutions here. New solution. I'm going to call this My School Library Solution. And I'm going to select a publisher. I'm going to select a Power Up publisher. Then I'm going to select More Options. And then under Description, a container for the assets relating to the Library Manager app for the Power Up course. And then select Create. And the My School Library Solution has now been created. I can select New App, and it's going to be a Canvas app. I need to give the app a name. I'm going to call it My Library Manager Canvas app, and then select Create. At this point is an app with a single screen with no controls inside it. I'm going to select the three dots, and then I'm going to rename it and call it Home Screen. I'd like to bring in a header component. If I go to Insert, I won't be able to see it there. That's because I need to change the settings to allow for modern controls. I'm going to select the three dots and then Settings. Then head to Updates and select Modern Controls and Themes. Select On and then Close. I can now select the Insert and then search for Header. And I can drag the header component onto the screen. I can drag this to the top of the screen. And I'd like to update the logo for the home screen. If I select the drop down next to logo, I can see that there aren't actually any images in there yet, but I do have the option to upload. Select Upload. And in my curriculum resources, I can see that I've got a bookshelf SVG. Select on this and then open. If we now go to the three dots and look at our media, we can see that we've introduced media into our app. It's called bookshelf.svg. Let's make some adjustments to our header. What if we don't want it to say home screen? And what if we want it to be positioned in the middle? Let's make a change. On my Properties pane on the right hand side, if you don't see it, make sure you select on Properties. I'm going to untick Show Title and it will disappear. Then I'm going to select Insert and I'm going to bring in some text. I'm going to drag one handle right into the corner. I'm going to select the drop down for the property. I'm looking for the width property. Select width. It's currently 136 pixels. I'm going to change that. I want it to be parent width. And that means that this label is now gone to the full size of the screen. What's happening here? I'm going to select on the tree view. And the width of text canvas 1 is the width of the home screen, because the home screen is the parent of text canvas 1. I'm going to change the alignment. I'm going to make it center. I'm going to change the vertical alignment, make that middle. I'm going to change the font size to 35. I can do that here. Change the font weight to bold. And then change the font color. And I'm going to make this white. Currently it reads as text, so I'm going to scroll to the top. I'm going to make a change to that. I can do it here and change it to Library Manager here, or I can select on text. I can change it in this area, and we need to retain the quote marks. Change it to Library Manager. I'm now going to bring in a container onto the screen, which we're going to use eventually to populate it with some dashboard data. Select Insert on the left-hand side. I'm going to search container, and this is going to be a horizontal container. I can drag that onto the screen and I can reposition it. Once again, on the width, I'm going to make that parent width. I'm going to change the height by simply dragging it upwards. I'm going to bring in a button to allow us to check out a book. Before I do that, I'm going to select on the tree view, but this time I'm going to insert from the top menu. Select the button, then drag it onto the screen. I'm going to move this to the bottom right hand side. Make the title Checkout Book, so I can change the text property, change the width. I'm going to associate an icon with the button. Select the drop down, and there are a discrete number of icons that you can choose. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to select the document add. I'm now going to rename some of the objects that we brought in. Text canvas 1, I'll select on that. I'm going to rename it. It's going to be called TXT Header Loans. I'm now going to select on the button canvas 1, rename, I'm going to call it BTN New Loan. Finally, container 1 becomes Loans Info. Rename to Loans Info. I'm going to add in a text box. Text. And notice that this has gone inside my Loans Info container. I don't want it there. The easiest way to take it out is to simply delete it. Insert. And then drag the text onto the screen. I'm going to sit this just below my container. Go on to the width property. And then we'll make this parent width. Parent.width, and I can select this. I'm going to make it slightly deeper. I'll just drag that down. And in the properties, I'm going to remove the text. Finally, I'm going to select the drop down. I'm going to look for the fill property, select that. And I'm going to tie the color of this label to the theme in our app. Select in the formula bar. I'm selected on my newly created label control. I'm going to select the 3 dots next to it and then rename it. It's going to be called LBL Header Bar. Select enter. I'm going to go on to the fill property. So you'll need to select that. And then I'm going to type the following: app dot, and then it's going to be the theme for the app. I can select that. And then it's going to be the colors from the theme. Select that. Then finally, I'm going to choose one of the colors that's available to me. Now I can choose lighter 70. And why does it matter that we did it in this way? Well, that's because if we hit the 3 dots and we select our theme and we select any one of the themes here, it will automatically all change to fit with that theme. I'm going to select the Teams theme. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you save your app at this point. Select Save. And this will ensure that you don't lose any of the work that you've done. We're now going to bring in an empty gallery into the screen. Insert. vertical gallery. And although in the future we'll connect this to data, we won't do this on this occasion. I'm going to select the close, and I'm going to position it down below. Expand it out. I'm going to go and make it the full width of the app. Remember, if I wish to do this in a more technical fashion, I can change the width to be parent.width. I'm going to close my themes and make sure I open my tree view. I'm going to rename Gallery 1 as Gal Loans. I can do this on the left-hand side, but I can also do it on the right-hand side here. Select it, Gal Loans, and enter. In the future, the gallery below will show us the loans that are currently outstanding, and the LBL header bar will give us titles for columns that we're presenting within our gallery. I'm going to make a change to this. I'm going to go on to my loans info container. I'm going to make that smaller. I'm going to make the label header bar a bit larger. I'm now going to insert. I'm going to insert a text input. I'm going to drag this down into our header area. I'm going to drag this across. I'll move it closer to the top. In the placeholder text, I'm going to write Find Student. And in the accessible label, readable by screen readers for people that have sight impairments, I'm going to add some additional details. Enter the name of the student to filter the loans table. I'm now happy with my app in its current state. And what I'd like to do is to publish that app. I'm going to select Save and then Publish. I'm going to select Edit Details. I've updated the description. This app allows loans to be reviewed and for books to be checked in and out of the library. I can change the icon for the app. I'm going to select Add Image. And I'm going to select imglogo.jpg. Select that and then Open. I'm going to add an icon background fill. Select that. And if the standard colours aren't suited to your needs, you can select on Custom and select a colour that is closer to what you require. I can now select Close, Publish again, and then select Publish this version. I'm happy with what we've done so far. I'm going to select Back, select Leave, and I can see that the app is contained within My School Library solution. If you're unsure at any time whether or not you've completed the app correctly, what you can do is you can go to a completed version of the app. To do this, you can go to Start Experimenting and it will take you to the environment. Select on Solutions, select School Library, Apps. I'm going to select on the completed My Library Manager Canvas app Modern Controls. Select the three dots, Edit, and you can see a fully functioning version of the app. And if you select on any of the controls, you'll be able to look at the properties of those controls and confirm if they're the same as your own. And I would suggest you pay particular attention to the names of the controls as this affects the formulas. In later videos, the formulas become more complex. However, if you select on the correct object, you'll be able to see the formula that I've used as part of this course. Make sure you expand formulas so you get to see everything that's in there. And if you're really struggling, do bear in mind that you can select these formulas and you can copy them into your own app. And if you wish, you can have both apps open at the same time. Note this is a particularly useful technique for looking at formulas that have been rendered in the alternate PowerFX syntax. On screen, the app has been rendered in a French format, and whilst there's no change to the names of the controls, the formulas do render in a different way. In this video, we created the home screen for the My Library Manager. We saved and published the app. And in future lessons, we're going to be connecting it to data. I'll see you in the next video.